Good morning. My name is Jenn Katon. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm a member of the Worship and Music Committee. It's my pleasure to welcome you to our virtual service at First Parish Plymouth Congregation. These services will be posted on our Facebook page and on YouTube. The first part of our service is recorded. Then we enter our time of personal sharing with milestones, which is not recorded. We are happy to welcome our minister, Reverend Art Lavoie, and our music director, Sandy Hammond, back from their summer break. Our technical director today is Paul Melville. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever you believe, wherever you are on your journey, come walk with us this hour. Let us walk together this hour. Our call to worship comes from Garden Zen by Ken Collier. I sit in my garden and contemplate the depth and profundity of the universe. And all the while the wind blows gently from the hills and teases the leaves and flowers and brushes my hair. A hummingbird visits the bright red sage and gnats hover in the warm air. What need is there for profundity? Everything I need is here.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Good morning. I am unmuted, right? Yes. Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be back with you. I'm the Reverend Arthur Lavoie. My pronouns are he, him, and his. Please join me with the words of the chalice lighting that are on your screen. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant. to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another.
Our reading was written by Robin Landerman Zucker. Like many UU families, the interfaith Zuckers attended at least one Passover Seder every spring. We also lit Hanukkah candles each December on Grandma Esther's hand-me-down menorah. Rituals for both holidays included the traditional Jewish prayers, which begin, Baruch atah Adonai. Blessed art thou, O Lord. Many Seders ago, my then 9-year-old daughter, Michaela, who had been known to charmingly fracture many a phrase, intoned clear and loud as a bell, Ba Rosh Ta Illinois. Blessed are thou, Illinois. Needless to say, we all laughed ourselves silly. It was amusing, though, to ponder whether the Prairie State might actually be more sacred than, say, the Buckeye State, the Pine Tree State, the Show Me State, the Gopher State, or Mass Bay Colony State. But it isn't. Sacred space is where you find it, where you feel grounded and at home and blessed. No pun intended, but it's a state of mind, so to speak. Yes, Illinois is surely the promised land for someone. Lake Michigan, as holy as the Jordan. But maybe what you consider hallowed ground is that quiet, shaded corner of your yard where you can inhale the incense of spring. It could be the cafe where you commune with friends over Cabernet and crusty bread, that down east lake where you exhale a litany of sighs. Or on the front porch the front porch swing at Grandma's, gliding back and forth in a rhythm as familiar as an old time hymn. So blessed art thou, Illinois, Massachusetts, Maine, Ohio, the window seat in the living room, the favorite aisle seat in the movie theater, the sticky bleacher at Fenway, that dependable tree branch, the choir loft at your church, the community hall at your fellowship, the grove at Ferry Beach. Blessed art thou, all the Chicagoans of our hearts, where we feel at home and connected. Blessed art thou, all the sacred spaces, all the promised lands we will create and inhabit together in the days to come.
My friend Helen Russo has a new book of poetry called Poems for a World on Fire. In that volume, there is a poem called Meditation on Grieving. And when I first read it, I thought it would pair beautifully with our hymn, Meditation on Breathing. And so Sandy and I will do this together. And we are blessed to have Helen in attendance at our service this morning. Welcome, Helen.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
I take in deep breaths of hope and release deep breaths of despair as I grieve the loss of civility, the rampant disregard for truth.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
I take in deep breaths of faith and release deep breaths of doubt as I grieve the use of religion to lead many astray from truth.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
I take in deep breaths of love and release deep breaths of hate as I grieve the loss of leadership from those who use power to sow division.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
Somewhere in this universe, faith, hope, and love still abide. I breathe in these qualities that they may come and dwell in me.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
It was such a relief for me when I got the second COVID-19 vaccine. I imagine many of you felt the same. I was nearly giddy with delight, as if a great burden had been lifted from my shoulders, which in many ways it had. As the nurse came over at the end of the post-shot waiting period to check on me, she noticed how happy I was. I told her, you know, I might just dance my way out of here. I was looking forward to seeing people in person again, connecting with family and friends, enjoying the summer without worrying about the virus, being able to go to restaurants more easily, having people over, all of the things we took for granted before the pandemic. Then the Delta variant began to surge. There was an outbreak in Provincetown at the same time that I was in Wellesley, a little close to home. Many vaccinated people have become infected and some have become sick. We do know that the vaccines are working and most people are not affected seriously if they get the virus. But we also know that the more the virus spreads among the vaccinated and unvaccinated alike, the more the chance of a more virulent strain to emerge. Strains that might not respond to the vaccines that we have so treasured. This has now, once again, become a time of weighing risks and benefits as I navigate a different summer than the one I had imagined. And I find it more difficult to sort out the nuances of what might and might not be possible, what I might or might not safely do Last summer, everything was clear. Always wear a mask, meet with people outdoors, avoid indoor activities. Now it's more nuanced, and knowing what to do is not always clear. How do I balance my need to see people in person with the possible risks of exposure to me or to them? And then there's the question many of us have been wrestling with over the last couple of weeks. How do we as a congregation decide how we will meet together in just a few short weeks? We know that though we all thought Zoom was a great blessing 15 months ago, most of us are so sick of it now that we can barely turn it on. After being out of the pulpit for 8 weeks, the thought of doing 2 Zoom services today and next week nearly brought me to cursing. And the fear and concern I felt through much of the pandemic has now turned to anger. Anger that is directed at the people who are disregarding science, politicizing the virus and its vaccines, and making our world, or at least our country, once again, a potential threat to us all. So here I stand before you this morning, having hoped to do a much lighter kind of service to start my church year off. But here I stand before you in a different place, remembering that anger is one stage of the grieving process, and knowing that there is so much for us to grieve right now. We must grieve those we have lost to the virus and other circumstances. We grieve the lack of face-to-face meaningful connection that we have to deal with once again. We grieve the reticence around physical contact. When before did we have to calculate, excuse me, whether or not it was safe to shake a hand, offer a hug, get close enough to give someone a kiss on the cheek? We know that life is ever changing, and we all long for some certainty in the midst of the shifting sands of time. Now we must all grieve some of what we thought was certain and sure just a few months ago. As I think about the stages of grieving, another stage is the bargaining stage. And I don't know about you, but I find myself bargaining with a virus, which sounds ludicrous. Well, if I do this, will it be okay? What if I do this and not this? What if I see this person seems more safe than this person? If I meet with my family, which I did last weekend, for example, I was supposed to be in Lavoie with my family for the weekend, and I decided, as part of that bargain, with grief, with fate, with the virus, to just go on Sunday for the day and minimize contact, and we would spend most of our time outside, and I wouldn't stay over. So I find that bargaining going on, and it really, again, makes me angry to be bargaining with a virus. So how do we reorder our lives in the midst of this virus and other challenges we face? Not the least of which is climate change. How do we deal with the lack of civility and the ever-present threat to our democracy? The lack of or distrust of leadership. There are still wildfires out west, And last weekend, there was a devastating earthquake in Haiti, a small island nation that's had more than its share of tragedy. And this week, we're dealing with the fall of the Afghan government as we try to rescue our own people and those who have helped us. The list of things that could rattle our nerves and our foundations is long. And yet here we are, part of this community of memory, of care, and yes, even a community of hope. Where do we find peace in the midst of chaos? Where do we find calm in these storms? Where do we find sacred space? A place for centering on shifting sands. In response, I'd offer these ideas in addition to the ones that Robin Zucker mentioned in the reading. Please use them or think of your own as well. Are those among family and friends whose love and support we can still count on? We have some assurance that this congregation will continue to be a safe space to us all, a blessing of care, friendship, and spiritual support. We still have many of those things that we have always drawn comfort from: music, the arts, a walk on the beach or in the woods, sitting in our own gardens or on our own lawns. For me, I have become much more intentional about the way I start and end my day. After I make coffee in the morning, nothing begins without coffee. After I make coffee in the morning, I sit with my journal and I check in with myself to prepare for the day. Then I read some inspirational writings, usually from one of our UU meditation manuals or a book of poetry. Both the call to worship and the reading this morning came from a new UU meditation anthology titled Falling into the Sky that I have been enjoying this month. I try to get out of the house every day, even for a short walk. Then before I go to sleep at night, I write in my journal again, checking in about the day, making a reminder list for the next day, releasing those things that are on my mind, any anxiety, fear, or other difficult emotion that might disturb my sleep, quieting my mind and my spirit. What is it that you do to help bring some centering to your day? Sacred space, that place where we feel safe and comforted and comfortable, is a state of mind, as Robin Zucker says in this morning's reading. It is where we find it and where we make it. It happens when we feel at home and most fully ourselves. Sometimes it is found by accident, suddenly coming across a beautiful stretch of beach, a quiet place on a path, seeing an unexpected bird at the feeder, or a rabbit in the yard. Often it is planned, like a special table with friends at a favorite restaurant, or sitting with a loved one to talk, listen to music, watch a movie. With the magic of our memory, we can carry our sacred places, our deep and meaningful connections with us, and call upon them when we're feeling stressed and despondent. We can reach out to those people and places that give us meaning and help us navigate through these uncertain times. We will get through this as long as we hang together and pay attention to what really matters. Amen. And blessed be. Our closing hymn, When Our Hearts Are in a Holy Place.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
Baruch atah, the Hebrew words for blessed art thou. Blessed art thou, each and every one of you, and your families and friends. Blessed art thou, all of the places that give our lives meaning and bring us comfort and some sense of relief. Blessed art thou, the unexpected, delightful things that happen, that bring a smile to our faces and bring us joy. Blessed art thou, the memories we carry of those things that have been special and those people that have been special and important to us and have helped to make us who we are. Blessed art thou, everything that gives us hope, enlivens our faith, and reminds us to love in this scary and threatening world. Amen.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I'll breathe out. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe out. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe